What's going on, guys? It's Michael from GPURisers.com, back again here to talk a little bit more about Alephium. Now, specifically in this video, I wanted to touch on a couple of the points that I made in the last video, and those points mainly circle around the speculative mining side of, mining these coins that you might not be able to sell right now, on projects that are very new. And so I wanted to thank one of the viewers in the last video who dropped a comment down below. They told me that TREXMiner actually has a beta available, 25.0. That's the version number. And in this new version of TREXMiner 25.0, you are able to dual mine Ethereum and Alephium at the same time. And that doesn't mean that you can mine Ethereum, at 100% and Alephium at 100%. But from what I've seen so far is you can mine Ethereum, you can allocate percentages, really, I think is what it is. And I think it's 62% of the full hash rate that the card's capable of on Ethereum, and then 38% on Alephium. Now, those numbers might be 68, 32. I can't exactly remember. We will figure that out in today's video. So I wanted to just go over Alephium. We have the miner stat profitability here. The last 24 hours, the profitability has dropped since the last time that we looked at this. And I think that that is because the overall network hash rate is fluctuating. Now, it could be that, or it could just be MinerStat not having enough data available. As I've said, multiple times, this is a new project. Things are not going to be perfect. But I wanted to touch on this before I, started the video on how to dual mine Alephium and Ethereum at the same time. Now, on our test bench, as we did before, we are still on 7.2.3. They do have a new 0.4 out and released. However, I'm going to go ahead and just stick with 7.2.3 for now, because I do believe I will be switching over to TREXMiner. So as you can see here, we do have a low hash rate currently on Alephium. This should be around 1.4.9. As soon as I remote in and start doing things, open up Brave browser and things like that, it does, jump down quite substantially. So maybe that's something that's new. I did read in 7.2.4, I believe, 7.2.4, there was a stale shares issue. Whenever it would switch to mining for the dev fee and mining back, there would be stale shares that could come up. But I didn't read anything about this issue. I do think this is just because I'm remoted into the test bench right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and restart the test bench, run this miner, and show you guys that we're still getting around 1.49 gigahash on Alephium, and then we'll go ahead and set up TREXMiner. All right, guys, we are back here. I'm going to go ahead and open up MSI Afterburner, and I'm just going to be applying the clocks that I would on mining Ethereum, because it doesn't seem like the memory the memory clock affects Alephium at all, if any. If anything, it's more on the core. So I'm going to leave this at 60%. I'm going to leave the core at 0. Normally I underclock that a little bit, but we do have a power limit already in place. And then on the memory clock, I am going to do 1800. I'm going to go ahead and bump the fans up to 100%. Okay, so now that that is going, I will open up BZMiner for you guys, just to show you guys that we're still getting the 1.49, a little bit more, I think, right when it starts. You can see here we're already getting some shares there. We're at 25.28 mega hash, so that's not exactly where we need to be. And here we are at 1.39 gigahash. It will jump a little bit. This, I think, is because we're not overclocking the core at all. So what I am actually going to do real quick before I switch over to dual mining is just running BZMiner with a 200 plus on the core. Okay, so we are at 1.49 here. So it was the core overclock that did it, the difference of 0.1 gigahash. So enough of all that, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into dual mining on TREX 0.25.0. So when you first open it right here, you will see Alephium right here, Wooly Pooly. This is more of the standard, miner software that I'm, used to. BZMiner was a little bit different for me. It's nothing crazy. It's just I'm so used to TREXMiner at this point. Most of my cards are Nvidia, so TREXMiner I just gravitate towards. And then, of course, Red Team Miner for, 6600 XTs or 6800 XTs. So right here, you can see that this is the standard T-Rex setup. I'm very glad that they decided to, add support for Alephium. Now, scrolling down here, you can find the LHR Unlock Dual ETH plus ALPH for Ethereum and Alephium. So we're going to go ahead, open this, edit. So it looks like the first stratum is going to be for Ethereum, same with the wallet address, name, all of that. URL 2 is going to be the stratum for Alephium, and then followed by your wallet address. And we changed the name right here for the worker to test bench, and that's just so that we could verify on the pools that it is indeed mining and getting shares. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste one of my Ethereum addresses right here. For the stratum, I'm going to go ahead and let's just use Ethermine stratum. So we have right here US1. We'll copy that right here. Also add in the ports, which are for 4s. Okay, so that looks all good there. Now we need to add in Alephiums. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to BZMiner and copy it from here. I have it in the config file. So here is the Wooly Pooly address. Let's copy that over here. And of course, the wallet address that we need, we'll copy that right here. And let's go ahead and file, save, close this. So I did confirm that it is 68% for Ethereum and 32% for Alephium. And while briefly being on the Discord, it does look like that they do intend for you to be able to change those percentages, but I'm not 100% sure. So now that we have that all set up, let's go ahead and double click it and see how it mines. All right, guys, so we are mining along here. I did bring up hardware info so that we can, watch the GPU temperature at the core and also the memory junction temperature. Now, I did lower the overclocks on this card a little bit. I brought the memory down from 1800 to 1500. And also the core from 200 to 180. I left the power limit still at 60%. So we are successfully mining both Ethereum and Alephium. However, it does look like it's limited a lot more than it should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this go for a while now. The card, for whatever reason, is not pulling a whole lot of power. I think I am going to go ahead and increase the power limit here just for testing purposes. We are not trying to, be the most efficient that we can be. So let's go ahead, bump this to 80%. And we'll run it one more time. All right, guys, we are back, and it still looks like it's very limiting on here. You can see the power draw here says 96 watts, and also on the power here, we can see it shows about 116 watts, 100 watts. So something's wrong. I'm going to go ahead and remove the power limit now. We'll put it back to 100%, and we'll go ahead and run this again. And if it has the same issues, I will just go ahead and restart. I think it may be having, again, the same issues that BZMiner was having when I remoted into it, all these other problems. All right, guys, just right off the bat, it looks like we're still having issues. Shows 115 watts here. On the actual ASUS ROG Thor power supply, it's showing about 115 watts, so it's actually kind of close. I'm going to go ahead and restart and apply the overclocks, and we'll be back in a second. All right, guys, we are back in. Let's go ahead, apply these overclocks. So we're going to do 180 on the core, do 1500 on the memory, keep that at 100%, and we will also bump the fans to 100. All right, guys, so it looks like we are still coming into issues. It's only drawing about 113 watts, the 3070 Ti, and that's far below what it should be, especially when we do have these overclocks applied. This thing should be drawing closer to 250 watts. So there is a problem there. What I am going to go ahead and do is just redo the drivers on this thing. All right, so what I am going to go ahead and do here is download the newest drivers. I'm pretty sure I have a very close version, I think 511.25. So this new version of 511.65, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but really what I want to do is just kind of reset all the settings that the older drivers might have had in there. So let's go ahead and do this, and then we will reboot and try this again. All right, guys, we are back. We do have 511.65 installed. Let's go ahead and apply our overclocks. I'm going to do 180 on the core. Actually, let's stick with 200 on the core, and on the memory, I'm going to bump that to 1600. We'll keep the power limit there. Again, put the fan all the way up, and let's go ahead and just jump into it again and hope for the best. All right, guys, we are back. We installed the drivers and everything like that, and as you can see, to my much surprise, we're getting around 56 mega hash on Ethereum, which is pretty much what these cards do get. I mean, I get, right around 60 on a Linux distro, but 56 is pretty close, especially considering the not super aggressive overclock that I have on it. 1600, usually you can bump this up to around 1800 on Ethereum. So hovering around that is amazing. And then on Alephium, we're getting around 578 mega hash, which is really, really good. That is kind of in line with what I expected for Alephium. It is 32% of what the max hash rate is, so let's just say a third. And these cards get around 1.49. So around 580 mega hash, let's just say 600 mega hash, that would bring you to around, 1.8 giga hash, or a little bit under. So let's just say, 1.7. And that is kind of in line with what these cards get without a underclock on them. But all of that said, this card is drawing about 300 watts. And that is a whole lot of wattage. If you could see our GPU temperature on the right and our GPU memory junction temperature, we do have our 20 watt thermal pads on this card, and we do have those for sale. I can, guarantee that if we did not have those 20 watt pads on this 3070 Ti, the memory junction temperature would be just absolutely melting right now. That junction temperature, just mining Ethereum by itself, with a underclock on it, about 70% power limit underclock, reached around 104 Celsius. So dual mining is utilizing the core. There is a lot more power running through this card right now, and our memory junction temperatures are staying nice and cool. So that said, let's go ahead and start tinkering a little bit with the overclocks. I am going to start, of course, with the power limit. Let's drop this to 70, and let's sit back and let this mine for a little bit. Now, it looks like that the numbers are dropping slightly, not a whole lot. Again, I'm very surprised at this. I did not do any testing or anything before I filmed this. So these numbers are very, very good in my opinion. Now that we have that up, let's go ahead and bring up MSI Afterburner again, and let's drop this down to 65. We'll apply that. All right, guys, we are back. You can see we're pulling about 196 watts on the card, which is relatively accurate looking at the power draw from the wall here. And we are still getting 54 mega hash on Ethereum and 528 mega hash on Alephium. That said, let's go ahead and drop this down to 60, which is where I would like to ideally keep the card. I like to keep it just under 200 watts. 180 watts is my goal. And here we have it, guys. 176 watts from the card, which again, from the wall, this is fairly accurate. We're getting around 52.6 mega hash on Ethereum and 486 mega hash on Alephium. We'll let this go for about another 2 minutes. I am going to go ahead and bump this back up to 65. And so we are right at 200 watts. Again, on these cards, it does look like that this would be the sweet spot. For about another 10-15 watts, we get another about 4 mega hash on Ethereum and about another, I believe, 40 to 50 mega hash on Alephium. Again, our temperatures are just fantastic on this. I'm really happy with the way the 3070 Ti's react to new thermal pads on them. And I do want to shill our pads again. We did put a lot of work into them. To go from the 12.8 or 15, the higher end 15 watt dissipation pads that you could find on Amazon and stuff like that, we had to switch over from, consumer electronics thermal pads over to medical grade thermal pads. And in doing so, it changes the compound a little bit of it. It's a little bit softer of a pad. However, the results that we've been getting on these cards really are astounding. The 3070 Ti so far out of the cards that we tested, which are 3080s and 3090s, we haven't done a 3080 Ti yet, but the 3090s dropped about 10 degrees Celsius as compared to the 3070 Ti's, which drop in some cases 25 degrees Celsius. So, with those results, again, we are very happy. The 3090s dropped around, I want to say 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, just enough so that they're not thermal throttling or having any issues like that. But that's on the Zotac Hollow models, or I'm sorry, the Zotac Trinity models. There's only so much that you can do when the overall cooler is designed so bad. So we are, again, happy with the results on that. But these 3070 Ti's, You know, it really is, you know, doing a great job. As you guys can see here, you know, I'm sitting in a room, ambient temperatures 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is on a test bench by itself. However, again, when these were mining with stock pads just on Ethereum, no dual mining or anything, these were, you know, the memory junction temperature was reaching around 102, 104 degrees Celsius. So this is quite the drop. All right, guys, so I am going to be using these numbers here. We do have, what is this, 53.2 mega hash and 500, and let's do 53 mega hash and 540 mega hash respectively. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to close this and just give you guys some final numbers here. Just in case you're wondering, I know I shielded enough in this video, but we do have our 20-watt thermal pads here for sale. On our website, we do have 2mm and 3mm. This specific Zotac actually took 2 on the front and 3 on the back. And then these Zotac 3090s were 2 on both the front and back. These, as compared to Amazon 2, these are fairly large. They're 100 by 100 millimeters, and that is more than enough to do a front and back full repadding on any card. So if you guys are interested in doing a repad of the cards, go ahead and check that out. Again, we are very happy with that. On our website, we also do have a spot here that shows the thickness on, you know, different cards that you might have. So at the moment, we only have 2mm and 3mm. Eventually, we're going to be looking into 1mm and 1.5mm. Again, that link right here is on the page for our thermal pads. But enough of that. Let's jump into you know, the difference, again, between speculative mining and everything like that. The first video I made, or I guess I should say the most recent video, that's really full-blown speculative mining, right? You know, I have the cards that are mining 100% Alephium, and that's it, which means you can't sell the coin, and you're kind of just hoping that, you know, the coin price goes up enough that it could get listed on an exchange that here in the US you could sell on. However, things change dramatically when you introduce, you know, dual mining. And so let's just do a, you know, a comparison here. We're getting 53 mega hash on Ethereum as compared to, I want to say, a fair mega hash rate that I get is 59. So if you do 53 divided by 59, that's 89.8%. So rounded, that's about a 10% drop, which if you do 59 and times that by 0.9 for that to take into account that drop, that brings you at 53.1. So really, you're losing about 10% of your mega hash on Ethereum. So here on What to Mine, I have a 3070 Ti selected. We're going to go ahead and put 0 watts for Ethereum, and the difference in total mega hash between a stock 3070 Ti, or not stock 3070 Ti, but a 3070 Ti, you know, solo mining, you know, just Ethereum, is going to be 59 mega hash, and then what we're getting dual mining is 53, so that's a difference of 6 mega hash. So we type in 6 mega hash right here on What to Mine. That is going to show Ethereum way down here. And right here, that is 24 cents a day. So if we go over to the Alephium mining calculator right here, and we type in, you know, 540 mega hash, which is going to be 0.54 gigahash, we can go ahead, let's take the wattage out of here, calculate that, and then in a 24-hour period, that is 82 cents US. So when you're looking at it from this standpoint, you're losing 24 cents a day of mining Ethereum. However, you're gaining 82 cents a day by mining Alephium. Now, again, this is speculative. That 82 cents you're not going to be able to sell. That's not realized income that you're going to be able to have from this. However, it makes it so that you don't have to dedicate the entire card over to speculative mining. Now, for some larger scale miners, this doesn't really matter all too much. You know, if you have 20 rigs with, you know, 3070 Ti's on it, you might not want to do dual mining, you know, or you could set it up if it's, you know, if that's something you want to do. But the point I'm trying to get across is, you know, if you have 20 of these rigs, it might be just easier to switch one over to Alephium to then have a total of 5% of your 3070 Ti's mining Alephium, rather than having 20 of these rigs dual mining. But I think for most people who are watching this video, you might have, you know, 5, 10, 20 cards, and you don't want to dedicate, you know, an entire GPU to speculative mining. So in this case, you can drop off about 10% of your hash on Ethereum and gain about, you know, 30% of what the hash would be on Alephium. And I think that that is a very, very fair trade-off. I'm very excited that T-Rex is implementing this into their miner. And whether it's this project or any other coin, I do highly suggest, especially newer miners out there, who have really only been mining the main, Raven coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those kind of coins, to kind of branch out and try mining these new algorithms. And the reason I say that is so that you get used to other projects and other coins that you can mine when eventually Ethereum's not going to be there anymore. It gets you used to the different algorithms. It gets you, also used to the power changes. There were tons of issues when people switched over to Kapow. When Ravencoin switched algorithms, it required a lot more power, and a lot of people ran into a lot of heat issues. It wasn't set up for that. And, whereas Alephium actually requires less power. So it's just good to, get experience on different algorithms and how your cards react with your, the heat, the power consumption, everything. But again, that's just my 2 cents. Really, to sum this up, 82 cents unrealized compared to, 24 cents extra mining Ethereum. I think that that's kind of a no-brainer to do if you are planning on going into speculative mining. But lastly, I think that that is very, very cool that, T-Rex is doing this. And the results that I got today are much better than I actually expected. The developers for T-Rex were saying, again, around 68% of what your total hash rate on Ethereum, and then, about 32% of Alephium. However, the results I got today are really only, I want to say 90% Ethereum, and then around 30% Alephium. And actually, to give you a solid number, let's go ahead and just divide this by that. And it's actually about 36%. So 90% Ethereum, 36% Alephium. I think that that's great. And dual mining never really made a whole lot of sense to me. There might have been some times where it was more profitable than just mining just Ethereum by itself. However, whenever I approached it, it always seemed like the other algorithm was taking so much from Ethereum that it just didn't outweigh the benefits. Whereas the Alephium proof of, it's POLW, proof of light work, it's a less intensive proof of work algorithm. And Alephium does not utilize, memory really on these graphics cards, whereas, Ethereum does. And I think that this just shows that, it's proving that Alephium does not use the memory. It's only taking about 10% away, and it's still running at over, 30% of what it can do. I think that that is just amazing, but I will leave it there, guys. I will stop ranting about it. Again, I will leave a link down below with the, the download information for T-Rex Miner 0.25.0. And if you guys have any other questions on Alephium or how to get started on it, if you just want to mine by itself, you can check out the previous video that I did on that. About half of that video is me kind of just talking about the white paper, the development team, and kind of my opinions on it. But I hope everyone watching this has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you guys next time.